I request our HOD, Dr. Albert, to welcome the gathering.
Good afternoon, one and all. It gives me wonderful feeling to welcome our beloved Director Sports for the today afternoon section. I would like to welcome our Honorable Dean Sciences, Dr. John Thiruvadigal, for the 2 days virtual national level webinar for the 2 days afternoon section. I would like to welcome Dr. Baburaj, Ambassador Cross Ref, Chang Sing University, Taiwan, is a resource person of 2 days afternoon section. I would like to welcome the HOD Yoga Organizing Secretary, Department of Faculties, various university participation and PhD scholars. Welcome to you, one and all.
Thank you, Dr. Albert. May I invite our Honorable Dean Sciences to give the inaugural address. Sir, please.
Greetings all from SRM. I'm really privileged in joining this 2 days virtual national level webinar on how to write scientific research articles and to publish in Scopus and Web of Science index journals, organized by the Department of Physical Education and Sports Sciences and Department of Yoga, College of Science and Humanities, SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Katangalattur, near Chennai, Tamil Nadu. Really, I'm very pleased to submit my heartfelt appreciations and thanks to the organizers, especially Director, for choosing this theme. Fostering research has always been a priority at SRMIST. And SRM Institute of Science and Technology is committed to pursuit of excellence in research and aiming to lead the national agenda across a wide spectrum of science, technology, humanities, and social responsibilities. Also, SRMIST has made sincere efforts to line up its research focus with the national importance of achieving technological self-reliance. Our investment in facilities, highly specialized equipment, and tools are really a stimulating factor for driving high-quality, world-class research in multiple domains. Now, the university has several research centers to its credit. To name few, SRM Research Institute, Nanotechnology Research Center, Center for Environmental Nuclear Research, SRM Center for Medical Simulation, Interdisciplinary School of Indian System of Medicine, Center for Advanced Concrete Research, Earthquake Research Cell, Indian Nodal Bioethics Center of the International Network of the UNESCO Chair in Bioethics, and SRM Center for Applied Research in Education. And these centers function in a cooperative manner to identify and initiate foundational multidisciplinary research and applied research projects, create and combine patentable intellectual property components, design and develop prototypes and proof of concepts, manage and market the products and solutions, and win and work for to deliver funded research projects from government and non-government agencies. Really, I am very pleased to inform the August audience that 21 faculty members of SRMIST were listed among the top 2% scientists by the Stanford University, USA. 17 faculty members have published their research articles in the famous Nature Index journals, which contributes to 7% of the national contribution. And 2 research papers have been published in the famous Lancet journal by the faculty members of SRM Medical College. It has an impact factor of 79.32. On an average, per year, 50 faculty members of SRMIST publish their research articles in highly reputed journal with impact factor varying between 13 and 54. And these achievements have made SRMIST to stand top among the category of private institutions as well as the public sector institutions in India. Really, I have no doubt that you would find this webinar hosted and organized by Department of Sports really a boom, a virtual workspace, a virtual laboratory to understand the critical components of research and research publications. With these words, I wish the organizers and the participants a very grand success. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your informative inaugural address, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, now it's time to introduce the research person for today's afternoon. Dr. Babu Balraj earned his PhD in 2017 from Bharatiyar University, India. Later, he worked as a postdoctoral fellow at the Department of Physics at the National Chung Sing University in Taiwan, 2018 to 2019, and the Department of Electrical Engineering at the National Sing Hua University in Taiwan from 2019 to 2021. To pursue his research, he has published more than 60 articles in Scopus Web of Science Index journals. Dr. Babu Balraj is the publisher of the International Journal of Physical Education, Fitness and Sports, and the publishing director of IOR Press. In India, he initiated the use of DOI numbers in publishing Tamil scholarly articles and books, and he created awareness among Tamil scholars. Currently, he is serving as an ambassador at Crossref Organization, UK. Over to Dr. Babu Balraj.
Thank you very much for the introduction, sir. So today I'm going to talk about a roadmap to high quality publications. So I think we can get into the session, right, sir? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we are hearing. We are hearing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are here.
Okay, sir. So today I am going to talk about a roadmap to high quality publications. So in the Web of Science, the last 3 years, in the Web of Science, articles published in the last 3 years, that too in the top 10 journals were taken, and I have compared it Indian productivity with top 4 countries. So the figure shows, the first figure shows, USA has published 7,360 articles, whereas the last 3 years, India has produced only 24 articles. So even we cannot see, we cannot able to see the peak. We cannot able to differentiate the changes. So I have compared it with the next 3 top countries. So which is Australia, China, and UK. Still, we lag behind. So in overall, USA contribute 77.53%, whereas Australia, China, and UK contribute 8.47%, 7.27%, and 6.48% respectively. Whereas in case of India, we have produced only 0.25% of scientific articles in the top 10 journals. So controversially, many of the sports-related articles were published in the cloned and predatory journals, which are already listed by UGC, some are not. So why? Why we are lag behind? Why we are not able to compete with the international scientific community? So the issue is, many of us do not have adequate knowledge in choosing the right journal and right scholarly indexing database. So that's what we are going to discuss today. The second thing, many of us want our article to be published within a week or 2. So that's why many of us are publishing our articles in the predatory journals. So eventually we become a victim of predatory publishers. So in order to understand before going to the top quality journals and Web of Science and Scopus other international indexing databases, first we should know what is indexing. So these are the legitimate scholarly indexing databases, leading scholarly indexing databases. So in which Web of Science and Scopus are the leaders in the scholarly database. So Web of Science is a father of all databases. So still many of the databases are still emerging day by day, but in scientific community, Web of Science and Scopus plays a major role in scientific community. So you can have a look at the legitimate indexing databases, Plagiarism, Web of Science, Scopus, PubMed, ProQuest, TOAJ, Cable's directories. So this Committee on Publication Ethics, Open Access Publisher Association, STM, Association of Professional and Scholarly Publishers. So these are these are the organizations where publishers can become a member and they can get resources from those organizations. So Ulrich Periodical Web, Cross-Reference, International Committee of Medical Journal Editors, and EBASCO database. So finally, in India, we have Indian UGC CAT. So first we can know about the history of citation index. So the word citation index was first coined by Eugene Garfield, the American linguistics, in 1954. So he has published an article regarding citation indexes in the world reputed science journal in 1955. So he is the founder of the Institute for Scientific Information. He introduced the concept of indexing, and he introduced the concept of scientiometric and bibliometric databases. So he initially formulated Science Citation Index, Arts and Humanities Citation Index, and he is the one who formulated journal citation reports. That's what we call impact factor. So this is the history of citation indexing. So in 1960, Eugene Garfield has started the Institute for Scientific Information. In 1964, he has established the Science Citation Index. So Science Citation Index is a database where articles related to science, engineering, and medicines will be, saved. In 1973, Social Sciences was established, where social sciences and arts and humanities related articles will be deposited. In 1976, he has formulated the Journal Citation Report, and from 1976 onwards, ISI is publishing impact factors for all the journals. Initially, they were publishing all this information in print form. Later, they have moved to CD-ROM, and later in 1998, it has they have moved the entire database to the online. So in 1978, they have formulated the Arts and Humanities Citation Index. So in 1992, ISI was acquired by Thomson Corporation. So again in 1992, currently the Web of Science has 8 core collections and have set up sub-collections. So they brought all these citation indexes together under one umbrella and they named it as Web of Science. So if you take Scopus is only a single indexing. It doesn't have any core collections. Whereas if you take Web of Science, it is not a single indexing. It has a different set of core collections, like for science, social science, arts and humanities, and for conference proceedings, books, and meeting abstracts. For everything, it has some different set of core collections, unlike Scopus. So currently, more than 33 journals, books, conference proceedings are covered in Web of Science. So in 2018, it was acquired by Clarivate Analytics again, from Thomson Corporation. So currently they are owning the Web of Science database, and they are the leading legitimate database provider in the world. So when in 2004, Scopus database has started. So when compared to Scopus, ISI means Science Citation Index, Web of Science has long history. So in the scientific community, Web of Science has higher standard than Scopus. So you won't believe me, when I was working in Taiwan, also when I was doing PhD in India, in Ramakrishna Mission Vidyalaya, really we do not know about what Scopus. See, even when I was working in abroad, people, they never care about Scopus. Really, many of the professors, they do not know about Scopus. So if we talk about Scopus indexing, people will ask, what is Scopus? Because in abroad, they always focus on Web of Science, that too ranking journals. So this is the history of citation indexing. So this is the Web of Score collection. So it has 8 core collections: Science Citation Index, Social Sciences, Arts and Humanities. For conference proceedings, it will be included in Conference Proceeding Citation Index. For books, it will be included in the Book Citation Index. So Emerging Sources Citation Index. So among 8 core collections, only for Science Citation Index and for Social Citation Index, the Web of Science is allocating impact factor. For no other core collections, the Web of Science is allocating impact factor. Why? Because when compared to science and social science, arts and humanities will not get more citations. So they don't allocate impact factor for arts and humanities citation index. Only two, science citation index or science citation index expanded or social sciences citation index will have an impact factor. So other sub-core collections you can see from this image, zoological record for zoological subject, and some of the countries have their own database, Korean journal database, Russian database, Silo from Brazil. So already those databases are merged with Web of Science. So authors from those countries, when they publish article in their country database, so eventually those articles will be included in the Web of Science. So even Indian government in 1990s, they have taken initiation to start Indian Science Citation Index in India for developing Indian journals, but still it remains as a discussion. So this is the overall view of Web of Science core collections. So next, we can go for Scopus. The Scopus founded by Elsevier in 2004. So this is abstract and citation bibliographic database. So Scopus also covers more than 36 journals, books, conference proceedings, everything. But when compared to Web of Science, Scopus will not cover conference meeting abstracts. So otherwise, they will both cover journal, books, conference proceedings, and other things. But they don't. Scopus do not cover conference meeting abstracts. So, for example, in sports, European Journal of European Sports Council, some others are some international sports research council. Often they organize some programs, and in which usually they do not encourage authors to submit their full research article. Instead, they will ask the author to submit their abstract, meeting abstract. So those abstracts will also be covered in Web of Science. So both Scopus and Web of Science, more than research contents from more than 40 languages were covered. So in both Scopus, I told you more than 40 languages around the globe were covered in both the databases. But for Tamil, so far, none of the Tamil contents were covered in the Scopus and Web of Science. So we are working towards that. So both the Scopus and Web of Science has ranked their journals based on the impact factor or site score. Say, for example, in sports, there is 100 journals indexed in Web of Science, Science Citation Index with impact factor. Top 25 journals will be ranked Q1, and the 25 to 50 will be ranked Q2, and 50 to 75 will be ranked Q3, and 75 to 100 will be ranked Q4. So usually, when there are authors from reputed authors or from the authors from the reputed institutions, usually they go for Q1 and Q2 journals rather than Q3 or Q4. So here it is based on impact factor. Here we should understand one thing: impact factor is a benchmark indicator. It's nothing but a measure of readership. So if journal is getting some higher impact factor, means the quality of the content may be very high, so it may be accessed and spread all over the world. So it get wider audience. So it gets cited more and more. So the impact factor will also be more. So in case of Q3 or Q4 journals, so they will have very low impact. Even if you take Scopus, some of the Q4 journals, after a few years, they may not have reasonable citations. So that only because of citations, they will be de-indexed from the Scopus or Web of Science databases. So in Web of Science core collection, in 2015, they have launched Emerging Sources Citation Index. So before 2015, you can find many number of journals without an impact factor. They will have SC, Science Citation Index, they will have Social Sciences Citation Index, but they will not have an impact factor. So to improve the quality of this indexing, to improve the quality of the articles, they have introduced the Emerging Sources Citation in 2015. So if the journal wants to include, if the journal has to include in the Web of Science database, it has to fulfill 28 criteria. So out of 28 criteria, the journal could not able to fulfill 3 or few categories, it will be included in the Emerging Sources Citation Index and will be monitored for 2 or more years. If the journal improves the quality, then it will be included in the major citation database, or else it will stay in Emerging Sources Citation Index, or it will be delisted from the Web of Science. So this is the methodology again, the impact factor and site score. So as I told you, Web of Science is the one who formulated impact factor So site score cannot be considered as an impact factor. So the Web of Science impact factor is called JCR impact factor, Journal Citation Report. Web of Science impact factor is the real impact factor. All other impact factors are fake impact factors. So I've seen many journals in their website, they claim their journal have 7 impact factor, 9 impact factor, 10 impact factor. So authors, they are rushing to publish their article in their journal only because of fake impact factors. So here you should clearly understood Web of Science is the only database who provide real impact factor. So whenever you are submitting your article to the journal, you should make sure whether the journal has JCR impact factor or other impact factor. If the journal has JCR impact factor, then it must be already in the Science Citation Index or Social Sciences Index database. So impact factor, how they are calculating impact factor? Total number of article citations in the last 2 years divided by number of articles published in the last 2 years. So we get, and the answer is impact factor. So here I have given the impact factor. It's the impact factor for British Journal of Sports Medicine. So same for site score, Scopus Science score. They use the same methodology like Web of Science. So in Web of Science, total number of articles published in the last 2 years, total number of citations in the last 2 years. So they calculate impact factor. In Scopus, they take 3 years, total number of articles published in the last 3 years, total number of citations obtained in the last 3 years. So this is the only difference from the Web of Science and Scopus. So only the Web of Science has an impact factor. Scopus doesn't have an impact factor. It's just an indexing. Maybe we can say Scopus has site 4 and other ranking. I know Q1, Q2 ranking. But when you go to the international scientific community, both Web of Science and Scopus both has ranking Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. But when you go to international scientific community, they always prefer the Web of Science ranking, not Scopus ranking. So the next indexing is PubMed. So PubMed is one of the leading indexing database developed by the National Center for Biotechnology Information, which has higher reputation in Europe. So it provides access to the bibliographic citations, medicine, nursing, dentistry, and other health subjects. So when compared to Web of Science and Scopus, PubMed has higher advantage. Why? Because Web of Science, Scopus cannot be accessed by everyone because both are subscription-based databases, whereas the PubMed is open database where you can find full-length content for millions of articles. So usually when people writing, health sciences people writing review articles, usually they go for, usually they select articles from Scopus, Web of Science or PubMed. So this is one of the repeated indexing. Also when articles published in PubMed will get higher discoverability and having higher chances of getting higher citation when compared to Scopus and Web of Science. So the next one is UGC CARE in India. So to promote research integrity and publication ethics, UGC has initiated this program, UGC CARE. So UGC has two groups. First one is list 1. So in order to include the journal in list 1, it has to be recommended by any of the state, center, or college faculty members through their IQAC center, and they have to submit the form to the UGC CARE. So UGC CARE will evaluate, and if the journal fulfill the criteria of UGC CARE standards, they will include the journal in the list group 1. So if group 1 means frequently they will, watch the journal. If the journal is doing any malpractices, then immediately it will be removed from the UGC CARE databases, list 1. Whereas the UGC CARE group 2, list 2, journals indexed in globally recognized databases, say for example, Web of Science, Scopus, journals indexed in these databases will be permanently listed in group 2. But once a journal is de-indexed from Scopus, what will happen? Immediately it will be delisted from group 2. So here are the publication, publication ethics and regulatory bodies. So as we discussed earlier, Web of Science and Scopus both only focused on quality articles or quality content. They never focus on publication ethics or research integrity. So committee on publication ethics International Committee on Medical Journal Editors, Association of Learned Professional Society Publishers, Open Access Publisher Association, DOAJ, and Cable's Directory. So these are the non-profit scientific organizations who formulate up-to-date publication ethics and research-oriented policies. So previously, before 2015, when I was publishing an article, when we were sending article to the journal, usually only the corresponding author will receive an email from the journal. Only he will receive an acknowledgement. Whether it's acknowledgement, whether it's acceptance or rejectance, only corresponding author will receive an email from the journal. Also, we do not include author contribution statement. We do not include the data availability. We do not include conflict of interest. We don't include much in the previous years. But now it has been entirely changed. And for even for health sciences, even for sports, nowadays COPE is insisting the publishers to insist the authors to include the ethics approval statement in the manuscript. So these are the major scientific bodies who formulate scientific publication ethics. So here in this, DOAJ plays a major role in publication or maintaining publication ethics, and DOAJ has whitelisted list of whitelisted journals, whereas Cable's Directory has both whitelisted and blacklisted journals. So whenever publisher are applying Scopus or Web of Science, if you are sending your article some of the journals which is not indexed in Scopus or Web of Science, but indexed in DOAJ or any of these databases, you can go for the journal, because when the journal is a member of these regulatory bodies, so when they go for near future, when they go for indexing, so there is a higher possibility of indexing. Even in the Web of Science database, apart from the core collections, you can find DOAJ, DOAJ listed journals. So Web of Science journals that are already are also listed in DOAJ, also kept in Web of Science database. So next one is cross-reference. So cross-reference, I wouldn't say it's an indexing, but it acts as a bridge between authors and indexing databases, publishers, societies, universities and libraries, government and funding bodies, because we provide metadata to scientific bodies. So cross-reference makes output easy, find site link access, and we are a non-profit member organization. Our aim is to make the science easy access to everyone. So from the cross-reference, we provide the following metadata for free of cost to be mentioned. Already I have mentioned the scientific bodies. So like journal title, author names, whether it's a book or journal, we provide ISSN, ISBN, funding information, license URLs. So nowadays it is mandatory to mention the license information in the manuscript. So if it is an open access journals, we need to mention. If it is a closed access journals, they will have a different license information. So full text URLs. So cross-reference provides authenticate services for the publishers. So for checking the similarity index, usually in institutions, academia, we use Turnitin and Urkun software for checking the plagiarism, whereas for in the research journals, we use authenticate software for similarity checking. So the cross-reference is the provider for authenticate. So once the article is before publishing, so once we receive the articles, immediately the article will be screened for its similarity. If you found the article has lower similarity, then it will be sent to the review. So after publication, apart from the journal publication, even the similarity check report will also be deposited in the cross-reference. So cross-mark updates. So you can update if there is any corrections, retractions, or if you have any new versions. So everything you can update in the cross-mark. So recently, journals like Royal Society of Open Science and many other journals, they are publishing peer review reports of their published manuscripts. So even in Publan, you can find many reports like this. Recently, cross-reference is linking articles as well as peer review reports for their to the articles. When testing RO identifiers, this one is research organization identifiers. So near future, it may come. So why DOI is most important? So when DOI is like a unique identification of your article, just like our Aadhaar card. When you have a DOI, when your article has a DOI, most of the major indexing databases, they crawl data from DOI, cross-reference. So when our article has a DOI, it will have a higher discoverability. Also, when your article has a DOI, it ensures fast indexing in the databases. So you need not to go and you need not to manually enter all the details in any databases. automatically it will be included in the database. So the next one is preservation databases. So when the scientific data is stored in print version, it can be stored for years, secure, stored for years, secure. But when the scientific information stored in the form of electronic version, there is a possibility of losing the data. So also many journals were born every day and they die without even celebrating their first birthday. So nowadays, all the publishing regulatory bodies are insisting the publishers to preserve their published contents in any of the preservation databases. So CLARKS, 44 logs, JGate, even in the British Library, they are saving the databases. So whenever you are, you are trying to publish your articles, you should also make sure whether the journal has preservation policy or not. If the journal has preservation policy, then the content will be available for all the time, even when the journal is not alive. So these are some of the predatory indexings. Actually, they do not follow any standard methods for evaluating journals. Their only aim is to get money from the publishers. And publishers, they just want to get certificate from these predatory indexing, predatory impact factor companies, and they will display in the journal webpage. They want it to attract more and more authors to get more money. So these are some of the predatory indexing databases, and still there are many are there. So IJRCS, Scientific Journal Impact Factor, International Scientific Indexes, JIP Impact Factor, ESJI Impact Factor, Cosmos Impact Factor. So all these are fake impact factors. So as we discussed earlier, UGC has already listed many cloned journals on their website. But still you can see many of the many of the researchers are publishing their articles in the same cloned journals. So how to identify predatory, cloned, or scholarly publishing journals? So we can discuss about it. Before that, whenever you are trying to publish your articles, if you are very new to this field, if you have already published your articles in some higher impact factor, then you need not to worry about it, because already you will have some adequate knowledge about standard journals. So if you do not have any idea, I suggest you to go to this website, thinkchecksummit.org, where they will have an online questionnaire. So if you are able, you have to fill the details about the journal which you are going to submit. If you are able to answer yes to the most of the questions, then you can go for the journal. If you are unable to answer yes to the most of the questions, then you should not go to the journal. So salient features of potential predatory publishers. So how to identify potential predatory publishers? Fake metric are having none available displayed on the journal website. As I discussed earlier, they will have a fake impact factor, they will have a fake indexing, which is not a legitimate indexing, and they will sometimes they will claim their journal is indexed in Web of Science, their journal is indexed in Scopus, but you cannot find the journal information on the respective databases. So you should never go for those journals with more general title. So some journals will have International Journal of Advanced Scientific Research, International Journal of Latest Trends in latest trends in research, like that. The journals will be there. So when you go for journals with more general title, when the journal doesn't have a specific aim and scope, so still their aim is to get money from the authors, not to maintain, not to practice quality standards. So you should never go for those journals. So fail to check the plagiarism. So plagiarism, nowadays plagiarism is the very biggest issue in the scientific industry. As we know, before a few years, more than 10 articles has been withdrawn from IIT Guwahati in this plagiarism issue. So many of the journals, many of the scholarly journals will check plagiarism before sending it to the review. But many of the journals, they do not check any plagiarism, because their only aim is to get money from the authors. Also, being an author, we just want to publish our articles within a day or two or within a week. That too in a high quality journal, that too without any peer review. If they provide any comment, most of the authors want to give some simple comments. Just include one or two references. Just polish your grammar. Only they will provide simple comments. So authors will be very happy and they will publish their article in the predatory journal. So fake are poor editorial board members. So in some journals have specific scope. If the journal is publishing articles in sports, but the journal editorial board will have board members from English or from some engineering or from biology. So they are not related to the scope of the journal. Also, in some journals, the editorial board members are nowhere connected to academia or scientific organization. So in some boards, the editorial board members will not have a quality publications. So that is also more important. And some board members, they will be an editorial board member in more than 20 or 30 journals. So when we go for COP or DOAJ indexing, even though we maintain qualities, quality standards, we maintain the practice quality, editorial practices, still our journal gets rejected only because of the board members are, they will have a board membership in more than 10 or 20 journals. So it should be avoided. You should never go for those kind of journals. So here I have given one example. Ali Riza Kidari, he is a board member for more than 100 Indian journals. Even he's an editor-in-chief in many journals. In his website, he claims he is from California South University, but for your information, no such universities exist in America. But he's the editor as well as editor-in-chief, editorial board member for more than 100 journals. So whenever you are submitting your article to the journal, you should also check the editorial board members' qualification as well as quality. So next one, rapid publication without peer review. So as I told you, some journals will publish your article within 24 hours, within a week, that too without any comments. So nowadays, no indexing databases wants article to be accepted without peer review, to be frank. So before 2016, before 2013, 14, when we send articles, we get direct acceptance. But nowadays, we never get direct acceptance. So if the journal has following, double-blind peer review, they are sending the article to reviewers. The two reviewers have given acceptance, still they will send it for peer review and get some opinion. So if the journal publishes your article without any peer review, then you should never go for it. So that's why you should always check for the journal received date, article received date, article revised, article accepted, and published date. So like MDPA and Frontier, they will not mention accepted, received, revised, but they will have MDPA as well as Class 1 or Frontier journals. They will publicly display their reviewer's name. So then you can go for those kind of journals, but for local journals you can avoid. And for non-professional, non-affiliated email addresses. So in some journals they use Gmail, Yahoo, and editorial board members from the institutions, they will have Gmail address instead of institutional email. So they are also considered as a predatory. And each article published, each published article will have a unique digital article device. So some publishers, they will be a member of cross-reference, and they will provide DOI number to your article, but they will never deposit the metadata in the DOI. So if someone, if the publisher wants to deposit metadata in DOI forum, they have to spend $1 per one article. So some of the publishers, they don't want to spend even $1 for their authors. So they will provide DOI, but they will not deposit in the DOI repository. So you have to go and you have to check the DOI number at DOI.org website. Once you place the DOI, it has to, the DOI has to take it to the respective article page link. So at the bottom, you can find some publishers will provide fake DOI numbers. International Journal for Legal Research and Analysis. So this is their DOI link. At the bottom, you can find the DOI's number starts with 0707.2022. Actually, DOI numbers never start with 07. It always starts with 10. So this is the fake DOI number. Even if you check this DOI number in the DOI website, it's never going to take us to the respective journal page. So how to identify legitimate journals? So even some journals will some journals index in Scopus, but after getting Scopus, immediately they will start publishing articles from all the branches. So before indexing in the Scopus, the journal may have published only 20 or 30 articles per year. But once they get Scopus, immediately they start publishing articles, like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. The Journal of Positive School of Psychology has published more than 6,000 articles in this year. So for this issue, Scopus database already has launched a software called Radar. when the journal publishing suddenly, when the journal shows sudden increase of articles, article publication volume, or when the journal shows sudden increase in the author's diversity, immediately the journal will be de-indexed from the Scopus database. So whenever you are going for some journal, that's why initially we have discussed, you should always go for your specific subject line. You should never go for more general journals. So if you take webology, the journal has been indexed from 2006 to 2021. So in the webology, the journal discontinued in 2021. So out of 406 articles, only 285 articles has been indexed in the Scopus database. So others will, in their lifetime, they will never know that their articles are not indexed in the Scopus databases. So the next issue, when we go for some journals, in the journal website, they claim their journal is already indexed in the Scopus database, but they might have been already de-indexed from the Scopus database. So you should personally go and check the Scopus page. So here you can see in the webology, I have highlighted 2 things. At the first line, Scopus coverage years 2006 to 2021. It means it should show, instead of 21, it should show present. Then only the journal is listed in Scopus indexing database. So in the issue பார்த்துட்டீங்கன்னா நிறைய ஜார்னலிங்க நம்ம தமிழ் மக்கள் வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா நிறைய ஜார்னல்ல பேப்பர் வந்து பப்ளிஷ் பண்றாங்க. ஆனா வந்து அந்த ஸ்கோபஸ் டேட்டாபேஸ்ல கரண்ட்ல இருக்கான்னு கூட அவங்க பாக்குறது இல்ல. ஜஸ்ட் ஒரு ஸ்கோபஸ்ல வந்து இண்டெக்சிங் இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு ஜார்னல்ல இருக்கு அப்படின்னா போதும், உடனே மூடிட்டு எல்லாரும் போய் அந்த ஜார்னல்ல குடிச்சிடுறாங்க. அதுதான் வந்து இங்க ஒரு பெரிய இஷ்யூ. ஸோ எப்போ நீங்க ஸ்கோபஸ்க்கு அப்ளை பண்ணாலும், நீங்க ஸ்கோபஸ் ஜார்னலுக்கு அப்ளை பண்ணாலும் முதல்ல போய் பாருங்க, முதல்ல அது பிரசன்ட்ல இருக்கான்னு பார்க்கணும். அது பிரசன்ட்ல இல்லைன்னா அந்த ஜார்னலுக்கு போகவே கூடாது. அதே மாதிரி அந்த ஃபோர்ஸ் ஹோம் பேஜ்லயே பாத்துட்டீங்கன்னா செகண்ட் கொடுத்துருக்கேன் பாருங்க, செகண்ட் பாக்ஸ். அந்த பாக்ஸ்ல பாத்துட்டீங்கன்னா சோர்ஸ் ஹோம் பேஜ்னு ஒரு விஷயம் இருக்க பாருங்க. அந்த சோர்ஸ் ஹோம் பேஜுக்கு போனீங்க அப்படின்னா, இஃப் யூ கிளிக் தி சோர்ஸ் ஹோம் பேஜ், இட் வில் டேக் யூ டு தி ஒரிஜினல் ஜார்னல் வெப்சைட். பட் தி ட்ராஜடி இஸ், யூஜிசி வந்து லிஸ்ட் பண்ணிருக்கக்கூடிய ஜார்னல்ஸ்ல, குளோனோட ஜார்னல்ஸ்ல பாத்துட்டீங்கன்னா மோர் தென் 20 ஜார்னல்ஸ் வந்து ஸ்கோபஸ் உங்களோட வெப்சைட்ல வந்து கிளைம் பண்றாங்க. எவ்ரி மந்த் majority of the South Indians, especially from Tamil people, are publishing more than 50, 60, 70 articles in the cloned journals. Already list இருக்கு, UGCல இருக்கு, அவங்க நோட்டிபிகேஷன் கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. நம்ம அது கூட தெரியாம அந்த ஸ்கோபஸ்னு ஒண்ணு ஒரு பேராசிரியர்ல போய் எல்லாருமே பப்ளிஷ் பண்றாங்க. இட்ஸ் வெரி sad to say that professors from state central universities or from reputed private universities has also published their articles in the cloned and predatory journals. So என்னன்னா you have to see 2 things. First one, whether the journal is really indexed in Scopus, currently indexed in Scopus or not. You have to check. So the journal is already de-indexed from the Scopus. Second thing, you have to check the chart force homepage. When you click the homepage, it will take you to the journal original website. If it takes you to the different website, then you can assume that the journal is cloned one. You should never go for that journal. So in the same case, a journal of Positive School Psychology. So at the bottom, we can see in the 2022, the journal has published only, journal has published more than 6,000 articles, whereas the Scopus database indexed only 26 documents. So அந்த இருக்கக்கூடிய மற்ற எந்த ஆர்டிகிளுமே Scopus database என்னன்னு சொல்லுது, Scopus databaseல உங்களுக்கு இன்க்ளூட் ஆகவே ஆகாது. So when you visit the journal, you can see lot of articles related to language, engineering, medicine, pharma, physics, chemistry, commerce, accountant. So they are not even related to journal title. So இதனாலதான் வந்து பாத்துட்டீங்கன்னா, ஏன் வந்து இந்தியன் ஜேர்னல்ஸுக்கு வந்து சில பேர் பண்ணக்கூடியதுல நிறைய ஜேர்னல்ஸ் வந்து ஸ்கோபஸே கொடுக்கறது இல்லை அப்படின்னா, ஏன் வந்து ஸ்கோபஸ் டேட்டாபேஸ் மேல நிறைய அலிகேஷன்ஸ் வருது, ஏன் வந்து வெப் ஆஃப் சயின்ஸ் வந்து ரொம்ப ஸ்டாண்டர்ட், ஏன் வந்து ஸ்கோபஸ்ல வந்து இந்த விஷயம் சொல்றோம்னா, மோர் தென் 13% ஆஃப் த ஆர்டிகல்ஸ் வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா ஸ்கோபஸ்ல இந்த மாதிரி பிரிடேட்டரி ஜேர்னல்ஸ். அதாவது we have to consider it as a predatory journal. We cannot consider it as a legitimate journal. So once the Scopus கிடைச்சதுக்கு அப்புறம் they don't practice, they don't maintain the publication ethics. So இந்த மாதிரி ஜேர்னல்ஸ்ல போகும்போது பேப்பர் போட்டாலும் it will be delisted from the Scopus database later. Maybe even after a few years, it can be delisted from the Scopus database. So you should be very careful about the journal you are choosing. So that's why I am suggesting you always go for Q1 and Q2 journals and major publishers, not individual publishers. So we were talking about publication of article volume in the journals, right? In Scopus database. So I have compared the British Journal of Sports Medicine and Indian Journal of Science and Technology for your reference. So the Indian Journal of Science and Technology has already been de-indexed in the Scopus before few years. So you can see in the British Journal of Sports Medicine, articles 2013 22 400, 370, 322, 320, and the 400 to 300 அப்படிங்கிற ரேஞ்சிலேயே தான் உங்களுக்கு ஆர்டிகல்ஸ் இருக்கும். பட் வேரஸ் வந்து இந்தியன் ஜர்னல் ஆஃப் சயின்ஸ் அண்ட் டெக்னாலஜி போயிட்டீங்கன்னா 2017 they have published only 26 articles. அதே 2016ல பாத்தீங்கன்னா more than 3000 articles. 2015ல 1700 articles. So in 2016 it has been doubled. Slowly you can increase the volume of the article, but you cannot suddenly increase the volume of the article. If so, the radar software will be immediately de-index the journal from the Scopus database. Once a journal de-indexed from the Scopus database, nowadays there is no possibility for re-inclusion. So when you go for publication, if it is an individual journal indexed in Scopus, you should always check these parameters before submitting your article. So cloned publishers. So this is one of the cloned website which is already listed in UGC, Journal of Indian University, UGC CARE Group 2, active journal in Scopus. You can see they have mentioned blah blah blah, but in the contact page they have not provided any physical address. So that's why we are discussing the publishers should always provide physical address. Even if you take fake metrics, fake impact factor companies, they will never provide their identity to the publishers as well as authors. So in the contact address we can see editorxju@gmail.com. So this is a fake email. So in the journal இப்படி வந்து ஸ்கோபஸ்னு கிளைம் பண்ணிருக்காங்களே, நிஜமாவே இதுல ஸ்கோபஸ்ல இண்டெக்ஸ் ஆயிருக்கான் அப்படின்னு நம்ம போய் பார்க்க. எஸ், நான் சொன்னேன் இல்லைங்களா, 2001 to present. ஸோ ப்ரெசென்ட் அப்படின்னு இருந்தாலும் என்ன அர்த்தம், ஜார்னலுடைய கண்டென்ட் இப்போ வரைக்கும் ஸ்கோபஸ்ல இண்டெக்ஸ் பண்ணிக்கிட்டே இருக்காங்க. அந்த ப்ரெசென்ட் அப்படிங்கிற வார்த்தை வந்தாலே, இந்த ப்ரெசென்ட் அப்படிங்கிறதுக்கும் சம் ஜார்னல்ஸ்ல வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா 2021 இருக்கும், பட் டிஸ்கண்டினியூடுன்னு போட்டிருக்க மாட்டாங்க. இங்க பாத்துட்டீங்கன்னா வெபாலஜி போட்டிருக்காங்க இல்லைங்களா, இதுல பாத்துட்டீங்கன்னா கவரேஜ் டிஸ்கண்டினியூட் இன் ஸ்கோபஸ் அப்படின்னு போடுவாங்க. அதுவே சம் ஜர்னல்ஸ்ல வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா பிரசன்ட் அப்படிங்கிறதுக்கு பதிலா 2021 அப்படின்னு இருக்கும், கவரேஜ் டிஸ்கண்டினியூட் அப்படின்னு போட்டிருக்க மாட்டோம். அப்படின்னா என்ன அர்த்தம்னா, journal is doing some malpractices, it is under the evaluation of Scopus. It means you should never go for those kind of journals. So இந்த ஜர்னல் பாத்துட்டீங்கன்னா பிரசன்ட் அப்படின்னு வந்தாலும் என்ன அர்த்தம்னா, இட்ஸ் a legitimate journal. Scopus is indexing 100% articles from the respective journal. So nowadays Scopus will not include all the articles published by journal publishers. Only from the legitimate journals they will include all the articles that are published by legitimate publishers. But for individual publishers, they have a separate team of separate evaluation team. They will evaluate the published articles. If they found article does not meet the quality of the Scopus standards, they will exclude the article from the database. So you should always consider go for Q1 or Q2 journals. So 100% your article will be included in the Scopus database. So இந்த ஜார்னல் பாத்துட்டீங்கன்னா இந்த மாதிரி வெப்பேஜ் கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. ஸ்கோபஸ் அப்படிங்கிற அந்த டீட்டெயில் அவங்க கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. அதை கிளிக் பண்ணோம்னு வச்சுக்கோங்களேன், இந்த மாதிரி ஸ்கோபஸ்னுடைய சோர்ஸ் பேஜுக்கு அந்த இதுவே எடுத்துட்டு போகும். நீங்க அதுல பாத்துட்டீங்கன்னா 2001 to present இருக்கு, ஜார்னல் அப்பயும் பிரசன்ட்ல தான் இருக்குன்னு அர்த்தம். ஸோ இங்க பாத்துட்டீங்கன்னா சொன்னேன், ஒவ்வொரு ஜார்னலுடைய ஸ்கோபஸ் டேட்டாபேஸ்ல அதனுடைய பாட்டத்துல சோர்ஸ் ஹோம் பேஜ் அப்படின்னு நமக்கு கொடுத்துருப்பாங்க. அந்த சோர்ஸ் ஹோம் பேஜ்ல போய் கிளிக் பண்ணுனா it will take you to the original publisher, legitimate publisher. So இதுதான் ஜார்னல் ஆஃப் ஜிடிஆன் யூனிவர்சிட்டியினுடைய ஒரிஜினல் வெப்சைட். This one is a cloned website. ஸோ இந்த ஆகஸ்ட்ல பாத்துட்டீங்கன்னா நம்ம தமிழ்நாட்டுல இருந்து more than 50 articles have been published in this journal. ஸோ அதுல ஒரு ரிசர்ச்சர் கூட இதுல போய் ஒரு கிளிக் பண்ணி இங்க இருக்கிற சோர்ஸ் ஹோம் பேஜ் வந்து செக் பண்ணி பார்க்கலாம். So இதுதான் வந்து ப்ராப்ளம். Even they have not checked anything from the UGC website, UGC CARE website. So blindly they are submitting their article. ஜார்னல் வந்து ஸ்கோபஸா இம்பாக்ட் ஃபேக்டர் இருக்கா, உடனே உங்க பேப்பரை வந்து அனுப்பிச்சுடுங்க. So this is how you have to check the legitimate and illegitimate publishers as well as cloned publishers. So this journal, International Journal of Applied Exercise Physiology. So இங்கே பார்த்துட்டீங்கன்னா same issue. The journal வந்து பார்த்துட்டீங்கன்னா initially they were performing very well. Actually, they published high quality articles from all around the globe. But later, they are charged some article processing fee of $500 USD. Later, they started publishing articles from civil engineering. Since the journal is field of specialization is sports, still the journal started publishing articles from civil engineering, mechanical engineering, and English, some literature, poem. So in the article, the journal has been excluded from the Web of Science database. So when compared to the Web of Science and Scopus database, importantly, you should know one thing. Scopus la ஒரு journal வந்து include after few years அந்த database வந்து Scopus ல இருந்து அந்த journal வந்து வெளியே அனுப்பிட்டாங்க, de-indexing பண்ணிட்டாங்க. Still articles indexed from the அந்த இண்டெக்ஸ் ஆன பீரியட்ல இருந்து அது de-index ஆன பீரியட் வரைக்கும் இருக்கக்கூடிய ஆர்டிகல்ஸ் Scopus டேட்டாபேஸ்லயே மெயின்டைன் ஆகும். ஸோ நீங்க போனீங்கன்னா ஆத்தர் இண்டிவிஜுவல் ஐடி கொடுத்தீங்கனாலே நம்பர் ஆஃப் ஆர்டிகல்ஸ் பப்ளிஷ்ட் அப்படிங்கிறது பார்த்துருவோம். ஸோ வேற இந்த வெப் ஆஃப் சயின்ஸ் அவங்க குவாலிட்டியில they don't want to take even 0.01% of risk. So they are more concerned about the quality. Scopus evaluation team doesn't have a full-time editorial staff, whereas the Web of Science has full-time editorial evaluation staff. So அவங்களுடைய குவாலிட்டி அப்படிங்கிறது பார்த்தீங்கன்னா வெப் ஆஃப் சயின்ஸ் ரொம்ப ஹையா இருக்கும். ஸோ ஒன்ஸ் ஜேர்னல் வந்து ஏதாவது மால் பிராக்டிஸ்ல வந்து இருக்காங்க அப்படின்னு அவங்க டிசைட் பண்ணிட்டாங்கன்னா they will de-index all the articles from the Web of Science database. ஸ்கோபஸ்ல ஒரு 2 வருஷம் ஒரு ஜேர்னல் இருக்கு, அதுக்குள்ள நீங்க பேப்பர் பப்ளிஷ் பண்றீங்க, ஸ்கோபஸ் டேட்டாபேஸ்லயே தான் இருக்கும் எப்பவுமே. இது ஒன்ஸ் ஜேர்னல் மட்டும்தான் உங்களுக்கு de-index ஆகும். பட் ஆனால் வெப் ஆஃப் சயின்ஸ்ல ஒன்ஸ் ஜேர்னல் வந்து அவன் de-indexing பண்ணிட்டான்னா என்டையர் டேட்டாவும் வெளியே போயிடும். ஸோ whenever you are applying for Web of Science ESA or some other journals, you should go for some higher impact. But usually ESA nowadays we are seeing this kind of problem. So initially before 5 years முன்னாடிலாம் பார்த்துட்டீங்கன்னா இந்த மாதிரிலாம் எதுவுமே கிடையாது. So all the journals will maintain some standards, but nowadays it becomes a business, right? So every institution is forcing their authors to publish articles. So that's why paper mills has the growth of paper mills has also raised. So இந்த இயர்ஸ்ல பாத்தீங்கன்னா லாஸ்ட் 2 இயர்ஸ்ல பாத்தீங்கன்னா ஒரு மிகப்பெரிய இஷ்யூ போயிட்டு இருக்கு, பேப்பர் மில் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. ஸோ சம் ஜேர்னல்ஸ்ல வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா ஆத்தர்ஸ் வந்து பேப்பர் வந்து விலைக்கு வாங்கிட்டு டிஃபரெண்ட் ரீஜன்ஸ்ல இருக்கக்கூடிய ஆத்தர்ஸ் இருந்து கோஆத்தர் வந்து சம் அமௌண்ட் ஆஃப் மணி வாங்கிட்டு அதை வந்து ஜேர்னல்ஸ் வந்து பப்ளிஷ் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காங்க. ஸோ ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இதை வந்து இதை வந்து வெளியே சொன்னது ராயல் சொசைட்டி ஆஃப் கெமிஸ்ட்ரி. ஸோ இது வந்து இப்போ சீரியஸான இஷ்யூ எடுத்து சிஓபி டிஓஜி எல்லாமே ஒர்க் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காங்க. மேபி நியர் ஃபியூச்சர் என்ன சொல்றது, it may be solved. So also the DOAJ, the journal claims the journal indexed in DOAJ, but when you visit the DOAJ page, when you search the journal name, you cannot find the source. So just like Scopus for Web of Science, just if you go to journal master list, Web of Science master list, Web of Science master list அப்படிங்கிறது பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இதுக்குள்ள போயிட்டு just anybody can register your details. It's entirely free. For Scopus, just go to, I will show you how to check the Scopus index in the journals. So for Web of Science, just type master journal list in the Google. It will take you to this page where you have to register yourself. Then the window will open like this. In this, in this space, you can type either the journal ISSN number or journal title, or you can type keyword. Say if you type British, it will show you the list of journals that has a name British. So here, when I type the ISSN number of the journal, that International Journal of Applied Exercise Physiology, I could not find the journal, journal source. So found 0 results, no such results found. It means journal claiming fake metrics on their website. So these are some of the leading publishers in the field of sports sciences, in which Springer, Elsevier, Taylor and Francis, Wiley, Nature, and some of the human genetics journals. If you publish your article in those journals, majority of the journals, you need not to pay any article processing fee for publications. So when you publish your article in these reputed journals, I can guarantee you that all your articles will be included in the Web of Science as well as Scopus database, because they maintain set up higher standard. So all their articles will be included in the Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. So when you go for Frontiers, Kindavi, MDPI, BMC, Plus One, Degrutter, these kind of journals, many of majority of their journals will charge article processing fee for open access publications. But I do not blame these journals, because when your article published in open access mode, it will gain more and more readers. So the possibility of getting citation is very high. So these are the useful links, PDF drive, where you can download, research related books related to your field. And this one is oatd.org, where you can download, just like our Scopus. Scopus is for downloading Indian repository, Indian theses. Here, oatd.org, you can download sports theses from all over the globe. So eBasco open dissertations, it has more than 1.4 million dissertations, but for free. It's an open access source. You can use it. And I also suggest you people to listen sports related podcast for increasing, improving your knowledge. Sir, just a live demo, sir. I just want to share my Google web page.
கோவிந்த் ஏதாவது கொஸ்டின் ஆன்சர் இருக்கா? வராங்களா? யாரா லைன்ல வராங்களா?
Sir, sorry, sir, I could not share my Google page, sir.
சார்
சொல்லுங்க சார், ஏதாவது கேள்விகள் இருந்தா கேட்கலாம் சார்.
கேள்விகள் எங்கள்கிட்ட இருக்கிறதோட வெளியில வந்தா நல்லா இருக்கும் கேள்வி.
ஓகேங்க சார், ஓகேங்க சார், ஓகேங்க சார்.
யாராவது எனி கொஸ்டின்ஸ் கொஞ்சம் லைவ்ல வாங்க. அந்த நவாஸ் பாஷா
கேட்டிருக்காருங்க. சொல்லுங்க நவாஸ் பாஷா,
என்ன கொஸ்டின் சொல்லுங்க.
ஹலோ ஹலோ
நவாஸ் பாஷா, நீங்க வந்து மைக் ஆன் பண்ணி வச்சு பேசலாம்.
ஹலோ
நவாஸ் பேசலாம். நவாஸ் நீங்க நிஷா பேசுங்க. அன்பு நிஷா பேசலாம். அவங்களுக்கும் கொடுத்தாச்சு பேசுறதுக்கு.
ஹலோ
அவங்கதான் மைக் ஆஃப் பண்ணி வச்சிருக்காங்க, மியூட் பண்ணிருக்காங்க. அன்மியூட். அன்பு நிஷா பேசுங்க.
Sorry, sir, I didn't have any questions, sir.
Okay, madam.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much.
நவ் பாஷா, அவர் மைக்க அன்மியூட் பண்ணிட்டு பேசணும். Okay, sir. Over to Jesus Rajkumar.
Thank you, sir. It was a nice presentation. Thank you, the first person. May I request Dr. Suresh, the organizing secretary, to propose vote of thanks.
Thank you, sir. Good evening to everyone. On behalf of Department of Physical Education and Yoga, I thank Dr. R. Mohankrishnan, sir, Director Sports, SRMIST, for giving me a good opportunity to conduct this national level webinar. I thank Dr. John Thirumadigal, sir, Applied Sciences of SRMIST, for inaugurating the national level webinar and for a wonderful inaugural address. I thank the resource persons, Dr. Babu Balraj, sir, Ambassador Grassref of National Swing Sing University, Taiwan, for accepting our invitations and enlightening the knowledge of the participants for their future research publication work. And I thank heads of the Department of Physical Education and Yoga, all the faculty members, research scholars, and participation from various institutions to this webinar. Once again, thank you one and all.
Thank you, Dr. Suresh.
Thank you.
It was a very good presentation. I hope every participant must have enjoyed and gained knowledge through this webinar. Thank you one and all. We shall meet tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock for the second day. Thank you. Good night. Have a
Thank
nice
you,
day.
sir. Thank you, sir. Babu, sir.
Thank you, sir.
so
Thank you
much.
very much. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.